Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited for today's Reshape Method review with UK-based lawyer and yoga teacher, Sukie Kaur. Hi, Sukie. How are you today?
Really well, Tracy.
Amazing. I'm just going to check that all the tech is working. And then I am so excited to hear about your reshape transformation. Let's just double check here. Are we live in the Facebook group? I think we are. Hope so. And if anybody watching isn't in our Facebook group, then you really want to be joining the Perry, and that's an ampersand, Movement and Reshaping Club on Facebook, because that is where a lot of the magic goes down. And you're going to want to check out the guide section there. All right, let me just confirm that we have sound and that we have action. Fantastic. Amazing. All right, I am also going to hit record. And if anybody has any questions, please just pop them in the chat. So welcome everyone to today's Reshape Method review with UK-based lawyer and yoga teacher, Sukie Kaur. Hi, Sukie, let's dive right into it because people want to know, what were your three biggest kind of transformations that you received doing the 12-week Reshape Method program?
Okay, well, there's definitely more than three.
Okay.
But if I had to choose my top three, I would say, firstly, my pain has disappeared. It's gone.
What pain did you have?
So I had, and this is now going on for, well, went on for 2 decades, over 20 years, probably at 24 years, pain in my knees, pain in my feet, lower back, shoulders and neck. Actually, probably I would say full body pain, and including leg cramps. A lot of tired leg syndrome. That was, really bad. And I'd honestly just come home from work and I'd just be whacked. Wasn't able to do anything. So that's probably the biggest takeaway for me, is the fact that my pain has gone.
Right.
And I started noticing that not after the 12 weeks, I started noticing it week 4.
Wow.
Started noticing it week 4. And then obviously as the time progressed, and now the other biggest takeaway is the fact that you did introduce me as a yoga teacher, but I didn't classify myself as a yoga teacher. The reason being was I was so embarrassed that I actually couldn't do yoga. And that is probably another big aha moment that I had doing this program with you, because as a yoga teacher, you think, and that was one of the reasons I became a yoga teacher. It was more for my own practice, to enhance my own practice and deepen it more, but just to get a fuller understanding of the anatomy in yoga, because I knew there was a missing piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to learn everything about yoga. And I thought, everyone talks about yoga. It's the most full body, mind, body, soul exercise that you can do. It's going to fix me. 4 weeks I spent doing the teacher training, and it didn't fix me. I did yoga for a little while, but I think it was too aggressive for my body, that I actually had to give it up. And it was exacerbating even more pain in my knees, and I couldn't do a lot of the poses that you do when you're supported on your knees or having to use your knees. So I would also say that the fact that I actually thought yoga was the all-to-go exercise. That's it. You do yoga, you're going to get fixed. And then I think the third biggest takeaway for me is, and this, I didn't even have this intention going in because I'm okay with my weight. Probably one needed to lose, a few pounds here or there, but I was fine. And that was not my goal for this course when I started, but I lost weight. And again, noticed that in week 4, it dropped off like this.
Right. And without doing any, you said without changing your diet.
I didn't change my diet.
What do you think the difference was?
So it was the alignment. It was the fact that I was, a lot of it was the mindset stuff that you do in the Reshape Method as well. And I think that's a big part of what you taught us,
Mhm.
going back to the mindset, but it's also the fact that I was bashing my body out, doing cardio, doing exercise in the gym that I thought was the good exercise for me to do. But actually, in fact, I was creating more cortisol and stress in my body. And that's why I was just in this plateau and not going anywhere with it.
Yes.
But
And so a lot of people do that. They understand that the cardio is not necessarily the way to go. So they do go to like yoga or Pilates, right? Which is the route that you took. So why do you think, again, you weren't getting the benefits out of the yoga that you were hoping to get? So what I'm saying, now that you know what you didn't know when you started, what do you think that real missing piece was for you that you were getting in the Reshape method?
it was the breath work. I think the breathwork module was a big one for me, and also the walking one, because now I'm getting my cardio through walking, but having a beautiful, graceful walk now that you've taught us how to walk, not only what I learned in the challenge, but the full module on walking in the program. And then the breathwork module. That for me was like, whoa, a big aha moment, because again, as a yoga teacher, and as I have my daily spiritual practice where I'm doing pranayama and I'm doing breath work, it's a totally different breath work. The breath work that you teach is the breath work that we should be breathing on a daily basis. So what I noticed I was doing, I was holding so much tension in my stomach that you taught us to just release, just let it all out. And when you explain the concept of the diaphragm, and you use the analogy of the French press, it was almost like a light just switched on in my brain. I was just like, wow. And then having that, it's the way you teach, Tracy. Everything that when you even doing all the movements and the exercises on the mat, what for me was the fact that you aligned us on every move. This is how you should be aligned, and you're talking us through it. So it's almost like I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. And it might be a squat, and I go into a squat, but then you'll be like, are you aligned like this? These are the muscles you should be feeling. And I'll be like, oh. And as soon as I change to the exact, and so that's what I love, the fact that you've got so much knowledge on the anatomy, and you're teaching us the anatomy with every move in every workout. So when we're going through it, you're like, now this is what you should be feeling. This is what you should be doing. Stack like this. That was for me, the missing piece in all the exercise that I've been doing in over 25 years.
Right. So would you say your biggest aha moment was just this whole concept of alignment, which is the overriding theme of the Reshape method?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Because soon as I started correcting the alignment, which you were doing from week one, even though you're bringing in other elements of what a full program, not until the end, and like leaving the weights and doing the strength training and the resistance training. And I totally understood why you've put it the way you have in such a systematic way, is because it's almost like we had to unlearn everything. What we've left, and our bodies are so used to doing something in such a way, we've created such bad habits that we didn't, what you're doing is you're learning stuff, but on top of the old habits. But what I loved about this program was the mindset thing, where you've made us unlearn everything and then learning from new again, and the mindset is a big thing. And I think for me, that was another piece that I loved, the fact that you brought in the combination of what you offer in the course. It's not just an exercise program, on mat exercise program. It's the mindset that you shift in us of the exercise and the movement that we should be having. So it's having a movement mindset, creating those good habits incrementally over the 12 weeks. So it's not like, here's the mindset module, do it, and that's it. It's not. The mindset is there in every workout. The mindset is there in every module that you're teaching in all the audios. And then soon as you create that mindset, movement mindset, it's like it solidifies. And it's not even like, oh, I've done it now, but then you create such good habits over the 12 weeks with us. And it's just a combination of everything in relation to the nutrition that you teach us, the exercise on mat, off mat, the alignment that we should be doing throughout the day. I didn't even think of this. As a lawyer, I'm sitting all day. And then you said, well, have 3 different workstations. I've got 3 different workstations in my house now. And,
fantastic.
so I move around the house.
Yes.
that's my big thing for me is it's now I've got that movement mindset in everything I do. So even if I'm going to take a phone call, it's like Tracy's like, remember what you need to do when you're taking a phone call. Don't sit there. I'm walking around the house. I'm getting my steps in and I'm getting my movement in.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. Right. Because we really are going on what we're doing in the Reshape Method. Maybe you can talk a little bit about this is that, yeah, it's a 12-week program, but as I keep saying, it's not a 12-week program. Like you often hear people say, oh, this is life-changing. This is transformational. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. Oh, I went out of, I blurred a bit there. Maybe you can talk a bit about that, like about the concept of transformation and the concept of this is a lifetime thing. Was that true? Because a lot of people tell me what I am, telling people what we do in the Reshape Method is it's unbelievable. It's too good to be true. Yeah. So let's hear it from somebody who has done it.
So you will have that. Exercise is a lifetime thing. It's something that we should be incorporating into our life every day anyway. And it's a big element of our lives, isn't it? The exercise part of it. And a lot of us will either go to the gym or have some form of exercise. And we're going to do that for life. And even though this is just a 12-week program, the way it's set out is I completed the 12 weeks. And Tracy, I spoke to you about this, that I had a 6-week break. And what I wanted to do was finish the 12 weeks and then go back and start the 12 weeks again and have this as a lifetime thing. But I had to have a 6-week break. And I honestly thought that I'm going to fall off the wagon and go back to square one. And the reason I had a 6-week break was because, I had my retreat in Bali and then I had my accident out there when I fell. So I had physically, I wasn't able to do anything. Actually, I think it even went into sort of 7 weeks. And I worried and I contacted you. And I was like, Tracy, this is what's happening. You were like, just give your body a break and just rest. Listen to what your body wants. And my body just needed the rest. But I did not go back. I did not fall off the wagon. And I almost thought, right, I'm going to go back. All the work that I've done in the 12 weeks is just going to go to waste. But my body didn't change. And yes, I wasn't exercising. However, everything else that I'd incorporated on the mindset side of things and just general movement, it was a lifetime thing. And now me going back, and I've started week 2 now again, I'm learning so much more. It's like, oh, I didn't hear this last time. Did Tracy tell us this last time? And it's just like I'm picking at new things now. And, there's other things that I'm thinking, oh, I didn't pick up on this before. And just doing the workouts again is just so much more enjoyable because it's like I know the end result. And one thing that I'm a really bad student, I'm one of those students that likes to jump and go ahead and see what's next week and what's going on the next week. But with this one, I was really strict and I was like, no, I'm going to do this week by week, the way Tracy has set it out. There's a reason you've got it the way it is. And that's what I did. And I didn't even jump ahead on any of the modules to watch them.
Right.
And I'm just glad I did it like that.
Yeah.
It is a lifetime thing. And for me, what I loved about it is the fact that I'm saving money on the gym. I've stopped my gym membership, which was just a waste of money that it was all just, it has totally transformed my life. And I've maintained my weight. The biggest thing is I got rid of my menopause middle.
Woo!
And I showed you, didn't I?
What about that? Yeah, and you said you had bloat. So what was going on with that, do you think?
So again, how as women, we want to have a nice flat belly and it's almost, we're always breathing in. And I didn't realize I was doing this. And I think it was almost always like, I need to breathe in because then I look thinner.
You were holding in your belly, you were sucking in?
Sucking in all the time. And I was creating so much tension there, but I actually didn't even realize that I'm doing it unconsciously all the time. But then when you taught us the breathing module and then just to let go. And once I released everything there, and I might be giving too much detail here, but, and I mentioned this to you, I think it was week 4 or 5 of our Q&A when I jumped on, I was like, Tracy, look at my stomach, it's flat. And you looked at it, you were like, wow. And it's remained flat. And I'm getting so many comments from a lot of people saying, you look so good. What's going on? It is the breath work that we're doing, but also just teaching us that, that tension that we were holding in our middle there. Once I released all of that and then had the proper alignment, and I haven't changed my diet. At all, but every day going to the toilet without any problem. Sorry, ladies, too much information there.
It's important information. Yeah.
That is a big thing. So no more constipation. And I think that's a lot of it is to do with that. You know, you get the bloat. I just feel so much lighter, so much space there now. It's almost like my intestines like, oh, I can breathe now.
Yes.
So that was another bonus. The fact that my menopause middle, I did everything. I tried every diet under the sun. I was bashing it out in the gym, the cardio that I was doing, the steps that I was doing on a daily basis. And I saw a little bit of change in my body, but my middle would not go.
Right.
And this program, without me even having the intention of working on that, yeah.
Oh, love that. Absolutely love that. And it really just is about like a not doing, right? I think maybe if you can talk a little bit about that there's this big component in the Reshape method, and it's called the Reshape method because really we're reshaping your body, we're reshaping your skeleton, your alignment from the inside out. It really is a very deep, fundamental kind of back to basics approach.
Exactly that. And this is what you're not getting when you're taking any other program. And I've done loads. There's so many that I've done online, and you've got the movement part of it, the exercise part of it, but you haven't got the biomechanics part of it, which you teach us, and not even just teach us in a module tray. So you're taking us through biomechanics every single day. I love Skelly. Skelly, I love it when you bring him on and you're like, here you go. And just how you show us. So you take, like you say, it's going inside out, not looking, oh, I've got to look at my body on the outside. Do I look good today? I've done my squats. Do I look good today? It's not that. It's actually having the vision of what your skeleton looks like on the inside, how you're aligned when you're doing the movement. So that's what I've done. It's almost like I've switched on this inner vision of what my skeletal system looks like and my muscles, and having that picture, because you're constantly putting that picture into our head as well of, the quads and your calf and this and that. And it's like we're getting the inner picture of our body, what our body should be looking like from the inside.
Yeah. And then that just creates an easy change, right? You just hit play. And could you believe that it would actually happen, that just by doing these sort of almost easy workouts, that this transformation would happen?
No, I honestly was skeptical about it. And one of the main reasons I joined was because of the pain element. So for me, the exercise and the reshape, so getting the shape in my body, wasn't a factor of me coming on, enrolling on the course. Hearing all the previous testimonials about pain. And so that was my main focus for me when I enrolled on the reshape. It was the alignment, which I thought I had really good alignment. And I'm tall, I'm 5'9", so I sort of have, I'm just naturally, I try and hold myself up. And I thought I had really good posture. And I would get that. People would say, oh, you stand so nice and tall, you walk so gracefully. And I'd be like, yes, I walk like this. But actually, when I did the alignment test, the quiz with you, and then when I had my one-to-one with you, and that's another great thing. It's not like just an online course. Here you go, do the exercises, here's the mat. Get on it. It's the one-to-ones that you have with us as well, where you actually are saying, show me how you're doing that exercise. Because we can't do it whilst we're on the mat with you when we're doing the workouts, but on the one-to-ones, you'll be like, okay, let's see your squat. Let's see your lunge. And then when we're doing all the different exercises, you're like, and I just couldn't even believe that through a screen, you could see the tiny tweaks that I had to just change. And it was just like, I totally changed my alignment. That's what I loved about it as well. Even though it's online, we can do so much through a call on a one-to-one, and the questions that we can then ask you. And it's amazing. Yeah. That's what I can say. It has been life transformational for me. And I love the workouts, because the workouts are really enjoyable. Really, really, because you're bringing the element of yoga into it as well. Because and it's just such a beautiful flow in the exercises. It's like you're not using. You almost feel like you're not doing any workout. You don't feel like you're doing a cardio or a workout. That you don't feel out of breath, or but you feel it. You'll feel it the next day. Like when you're doing it, it's like you feel nothing, and like, I haven't felt anything. I didn't feel a single thing doing that 30-minute workout. But you feel it the next day, and you know you've done something.
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. I love that. Thank you. So just going back briefly to the pain, right? I know that term reshape can maybe be a little bit confusing for people who, like you, are looking at the program and thinking, well, how is this going to change my pain, right? And do you see now, having done the program, that it's actually the reshaping of your skeleton that resolved your pain? And that's why I call it the Reshape Method.
Exactly.
Because no one can believe that, almost, right?
And you noticed that in straight away when you looked at my knees, straight away you said to me, I'm standing wrong. And so that's just it. So the biomechanics and looking at it from a skeletal perspective, and soon as I reshaped that or aligned that, everything on the outside just worked out. And like I say, I toned up so much. My legs have been the tonest in my entire life. I've never had such lovely toned up legs. And so the reshape isn't just about looking good on the outside, it's reshaping yourself from the inside, and that's what we've done. And like I said before, it's just having that vision of your skeleton. And I tell you, my pain was so bad, Tracy, that I went to the doctors because I thought I needed to have an operation on my legs, and he had referred me, and that I was going down that route, thinking I've got to do something about this. I've got to do something about my pain in my neck, stiffness in my body. My leg cramps have gone. I did everything. I had, I would see a chiropractor, I'd get my adjustments. I had physio, I had acupuncture, I saw a podiatrist. I tried everything under the sun to get rid of my pain. Nothing worked. Nothing.
And how did that make you feel? I mean, you were spending time, you were spending money, you were building up hope that something would help. How did that feel, being in that place of trying and nothing is?
I surrendered. It was just like, this is going to be my life. And, you know, I used to, and I'm only 48 years old. And the last, I would say for the last 15 years has been really bad. I would have to hold the handrail to walk myself up the stairs. And without even realizing this, probably week 5, 6, I was running up and down the stairs. And I'm like, I'm not holding the handrail. Some days I would have to hold on to it so in a way that I was as though I was a 70-year-old woman. I was like, if I'm feeling like this in my 40s, how am I going to be in my 70s? I'm going to be so immobile. But yeah, so the handrail for me was a big support, and I needed that to pull myself up because my knees were in so much pain. And I had no choice but to come up the stairs because that's where our bathroom is. That's where my bedroom is. So and it was just when I didn't have to use my hand on the handrail, it was just like, whoa, so much happened without me realizing and without me consciously thinking about it as well. With the progress that I was making in the Reshape Method.
Yeah. And how does it feel now? I mean, I say, if you've read my LinkedIn bio, it's like, I help women get a strong, agile, pain-free body to match their strong, agile, youthful minds so they can crush their next phase life and work goals.
Absolutely.
Does that resonate with you? And maybe tell us how the Reshape Method has fallen into kind of your because we're these perimenopausal women. This is our third age, many of us are taking on new careers, new side businesses, and maybe you can tell people a little bit about what you're doing as well as your kind of next phase, and how the Reshape Method is now fitting into that for you, what changes it's made.
Well, it's given me so much energy. Like you say, my body is pain-free. I'm walking with ease and grace. I feel stronger, fitter, lighter, leaner. I look great, even though I didn't have the goal of losing my weight. A lot of my friends are similar ages to me, and they're all going through menopause, and they are focused so much on the negative side of going through that third age. And it's just like, I've got such a different mindset now. And it's like, your life isn't over. And they just think, my life's over. My life's over now. This is it. It's all downhill from now. But actually, it's not, because this is the time of our life now that we've gone first age, second age, where we're so busy, and as mums or whatever it is that we're doing, and concentration on our careers. But actually, this is the prime time for us now, because our kids are sort of grown up or grown up, depending on how young you had them. And you're in a career that you're probably successful in or have want to move on from, or maybe someone like me who is leaving the corporate world, almost left the corporate world, and starting my own business, got my side hustle. I'm also doing my coaching and my retreat business. And for me, it's like, I want this to be the best years of my life. And the only way that I can have it as my best years of my life is if I've got the energy and if I've got the fitness in my body, and that I'm able to move and I'm agile, and I don't feel like I'm a 70-year-old woman in my 40s or my 50s and life is over. This is where life begins. The cliche phrase, life begins at 40. It truly does begin at 40. I'm a true believer of that. And I have turned my life around with people like you, Tracy, investing in my money, investing in my health and my well-being, my mindset and all the rest. But that was actually one of my, I did have that hesitation. One of the things was, it's a lot of money. And I'm not going to have the time because I've invested in so many programs. You do week 1, week 2, you're sort of motivated and the motivation dies away and that's the end. And you're like, I've wasted more. I've just wasted that money. But actually, if you break down the price of the program, Tracy, it works out monthly, not very much. And it was probably somewhere near my gym membership anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Not doing anything for me.
Yeah.
So and then I was running that gym membership at the same time as your program. And I'm like, I don't even need the gym membership because I've got so much out of this program. And when I cancelled it, it was just like, you know what? This is so much value for the price of it. Because like I say, it's not just an exercise program. There is the combination of the nutrition, the breath work, the anatomy, the biomechanics, and your knowledge on the biomechanics and the anatomy, not just teaching us in a module, you're bringing it into the exercise.
Yeah.
And the coaching that comes with it. There's so much you're offering, the one-to-one, as well as the group coaching that we have weekly, and just the ongoing support. And what I love about it is the whole scientific concept that you bring into it as well, teaching us from, this is what you need to do. It's a full body, mind, soul program.
Love it. Yeah, I call it a whole body, whole being transformation. And I know it sounds big and it sounds scary, but I'm hoping, and as you've said, that I've broken it down just step by step. You just go through each module and
doesn't feel overwhelming in any way whatsoever, even though you see everything on the dashboard and you look at it, you think, wow, and we know what's coming ahead. It doesn't feel overwhelming because the way you break it down as well. And the nice thing is we've got 5 workouts, and I just love the way you're like, you do it at your own pace whenever it works for you and have that day break. And even if you've fallen off or you've had a bad week, and then we'd come on the calls, on the Q&A, and some of the girls would be like, I didn't do anything this week. You'd encourage us. We would fall off the wagon, but you'd encourage us to get back on again, which is what I love. And this is, a lot of the programs don't have that online, the support, and then the Facebook group, the private Facebook group that we're in.
And just being on this journey together with all these fabulous Reshape women all around the world.
Yes, definitely. I can't recommend it highly enough. It is, for me, I'm almost like, is it really true? And I'm not just saying it. For me, the transformation that happened, and the biggest thing, my pain has gone. It has given me a new leash of life.
Tell us a bit about that. What does it feel like now to not have to spend, because often we land up kind of normalizing our pain almost, right? It's just, we learn to live with it. We make these adjustments in our lives. It can take up a lot of our, our mental real estate, right? And you can't be on top of your game when you've got this nagging pain all the time. So what does it feel like now for this whole component that you've been living with and dealing with and throwing money at and making appointments for 25 years, now that's gone? What does that feel like?
I feel like I've got a new mind and a new body. That's what I feel like, because not only has the pain gone, but my body looks good. And when I'm trying on clothes, because I'm working from home. So, and then the reminder is there, I may forget, but then I'll try something on, I'll wear something and I haven't worn in a while. And I'm like, oh, the other day, Tracy, I put on a belt. And you get the notch where you've been putting the belt on in that hole for however many years.
Yeah.
I went to go and put it on there, and it was so loose. I had to go to the next notch, and it's never been ever. It's like I keep getting beautiful reminders every single day, and it's like, don't forget the investment of what you've put into this. Tiny investment for what we have got. The price is incredible. I can't even, and like I say, if women are thinking it's too expensive, if you break it down to a monthly, the fact that it's a lifetime program and you go over it over and over again, you don't even need a gym membership. If you want to have a gym membership, great. But actually you don't need a gym membership because you've got your personal trainer there. Tracy is our personal trainer. The exercises are all there, and it's a full body, mind, soul program.
Thank you. Oh, that is so wonderful. So what would you say to people who are on the fence?
People who are on the fence is that you won't regret it. It's not going to be money that you're going to be throwing down the drain. Even if you can't do it straight away and you fall off and you think you may do a couple of weeks and then something happens, life gets in the way. Things happen. Life does get in the way. However, you can jump back on again and you don't feel like you've lost out on those 3 weeks, because actually the way you've designed the program is it's like mechanically you're fixing everything from the foundation. So you fix that foundation, you've laid that foundation on the first 2-3 modules, and then we're building on top of it. So even if you fall away or you fall off the wagon, it's like you're not losing what you've already put into the program, the investment you've put in through time. And it isn't like any other program. It's enjoyable because you've got a community around you as well. And other women, when you hear their stories and their transformational stories, it's like keeps you going. It's almost like, I want to do this. And so, for me, it was, if you're sitting on the fence, I wouldn't, the investment is nothing in comparison to what you're getting. If you break it down over the 12 weeks, but also the combination of everything you're getting in the program, not just a movement program, not just an exercise program. You've got the nutrition, you've got the biomechanics. Anatomy is a big thing, I think, that we are missing from a lot of programs. And you're teaching the anatomy, not in, it's every single movement. The anatomy is there. The coaching. You're not going to get anything like this anywhere else. I haven't, and I've always been investing into my mental health and my physical health a lot. I've thrown lots of money down the drain with the amount of the chiropractor, acupuncture, you name it. I'd have relief for about 24 hours. I'd be like, I'll book another appointment next week, because you get the relief for 24 hours, but you're back to square one. After 24 hours, you're back to square one. What I noticed with this is you don't go back to square one. You're actually, the pain is subsiding. You're looking fitter. You're feeling lighter. You're getting more energy. You're sleeping better. Overall, everything's just getting better and better as the weeks go by.
I love it. It's like, this is exactly why, like, I quit my desk job. I quit my kind of corporate editing job to share what I had found and learned, and because I don't want it to be the best kept secret anymore. Everybody deserves, we are in our third age, we deserve to look and feel wonderful. In fact, I say that the Reshape Method will help you to look wonderful, feel wonderful, and age audaciously.
Yeah, and that's what I love, the fact, the word that you use, audaciously. So when, like I said, a lot of my friends and family, women around me are my age, going through menopause or older, and they're just like, life's over now. I wanted to grow old gracefully. I'm like, well, I'm aging audaciously.
And what does that mean for you? What does audacious aging mean for you?
Audacious aging means, so when I look at it, the word, I expand. It's like youthful, brings the youth back, bringing my youth back. That's what audacious means for me. And it's almost like I'm just feeling younger. I want to feel younger in my mind, and I want to look younger. And actually nothing as well, because I'm sleeping better. I'm getting that restorative sleep. My skin is looking so much better. I'm not even using the expensive cosmetics and face creams and eye creams and everything that I was using before. It's because you've got to work from the inside out. It's not what you're applying on the outside. That's all we think about, applying really expensive face creams, going to the gym and doing exercising, so feeling good on the outside. You've got to start from the inside. So yeah, that's another benefit. I actually even forgot to mention that I'm getting such good sleep, restorative, deep sleep, that I'm feeling when I wake up in the morning so much energy and vibrating on a high energy all the time. So yeah, growing old audaciously is me going back to my youth, and that's how I feel.
Right, feeling youthful, right? We want to feel youthful, not necessarily young, right? Because I want to live with the wisdom, right, that I have now as a 52-year-old woman, but I do want to feel youthful. Does that resonate with you? Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go back to my 20s or my 30s. I love my age now, but like you say, you just want to feel youthful, knowing that there's, you know, a bucket list of things that we want to do as, you know, we're coming up to an age where we should be enjoying life, and life does begin at 40. I true believer of that. Life definitely does begin at 40, but that's only if you invest in yourself, in your mind, your body, your soul, and holistically as a whole. And that's what this program gives. It's holistically, you see it from every angle.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to chat to us today about your Reshape Method transformation. I am just thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled for you. I love having you with me and the rest of the women on the Reshape Method on our audacious aging journey. Yeah.
One more thing I just want to share with the ladies. As a yoga teacher, I call myself a yoga teacher, and so many people were saying to me, you don't teach yoga, you don't teach yoga. I'm like, yeah. It's COVID and all this. I used to make up excuses because I actually physically couldn't do some of the postures because of the pain. I've started yoga classes in person in a studio, and I cannot believe how agile I am in my movement when I'm doing my yoga. And when I see, and the girls look at me like, we want to be like you. I'm like, well, the Reshape Method. And can I just say, I've invited you to my Bali retreat next year because I want you to talk to the women and show them and actually give them an experience of what the Reshape Method is. So I really hope you take my offer up about joining us in Bali next year. My retreat, my yoga and meditation retreat, just so that you can spread the word and show. And I do have a lot of women in that age group that are going to be there. So yeah, that's another thing. So the fact that I've now started in-person yoga classes, I'm going to be making my money back on this program so quickly.
Fantastic. And it's a thing, right? It is a thing. And do you find, like, I actually stopped teaching yoga before I found this alignment-based, biomechanics-based method. I was a yoga teacher for a while, part-time, and I actually stopped teaching yoga, because I don't know why my camera keeps getting blurry. Because I personally got injured from doing yoga, because in retrospect, I realized I was out of alignment.
That's what was happening. I was getting injuries,
Right. So the movement that we do when we are out of alignment and have movement cheats can actually be making our issues worse. All right. I didn't realize that. But I quit teaching yoga because I was getting injured, and because as a yoga teacher, I felt that I could not properly modify and help my students, because what I had learned was not enough. I knew that something was missing. And I love now that many of the women who come into the Reshape Method, I have many women come in who are fitness instructors themselves on some kind of level, or physiotherapists or OTs, or people who are just doing yoga, like their yoga or Pilates, they like fundies. You are now able, let me ask you this, do you find that you're better able to help your yoga students now with the knowledge that you have? Yes. And to modify your moves when you're doing yoga?
Yeah. So when I go into a yoga pose now, I go into an advanced pose, but I will modify and do a beginner's and an intermediate pose. But also what I'm doing is, because I've learned so much on the anatomy on the Reshape method, I'm going around aligning my clients and just slight tweak on there, and it just changes the whole alignment of the body. And they're like, oh, I love it when they're in full pose, and I'll just go around and I'll just align them, and they're like, oh, I didn't feel that before, or wow, that just feels so much different. And even when I was doing my yoga, actually what started it was the fact that I had completed this program just before I went to Bali. And so when I was doing my yoga every day on the retreat, that sort of for me was just like, yeah, this has definitely confirmed that the Reshape method has worked, because I was actually really worried about doing my yoga on my retreat on a day, and it was going to be on a daily basis, a full hour class, if not two a day.
Yes.
And just moving them, just aligning the alignment, and not just for me but for them.
Yes.
Such an important part of any exercise we do. We could be on the treadmill or on any of the machines at the gym, and if we're not doing it, like I said, the walking challenge you've done, that's where for me it's just like one thing that I learned on the walking challenge, and I'm like, if I can get this out of my walking, what's the program going to give me? So, and then, like I say, just changing the whole, even the way we walk. I love going on my walks now.
Amazing, amazing. So maybe just to end off, if you can tell everyone who is watching how they can get hold of you, and tell them a little bit about your fabulous podcast, because Sukie is just the most incredible, inspiring coach, and I want to share you with everyone as well.
Thank you, Tracy. You didn't need to do that, but thank you so much. Yeah, so I am running my coaching and retreat business. I'm an energy alignment coach, meditation teacher, and a yoga teacher. I now like to call myself a yoga teacher. And so I run my international retreats in Bali, and also doing my yoga classes here now. But I'm bringing a lot of energy and healing work into my coaching. So it's we're multifaceted humans, so it's not just working from a cognitive level in relation to coaching, it's bringing in the energy body, bringing in everything holistically. So I've got a podcast which is called the Conscious Women Podcast, because my mission is to raise the collective consciousness of women. And again, this is what this program does. It's the consciousness, isn't it? It's almost having that awakening of there is so much more to exercise than just going to the gym or doing a few squats or doing a run here or there. It's raising that awareness. So that's a lot of the work that I do, is mindset, and limiting belief stuff and things like that. So yeah, and I've got a lot of meditations and a lot of things on my podcast and my website as well. So there's things that you can download. I've got freebies.
And what is the name of your website?
It's just my name, Sukie Kaur, sukiekaur.com.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that people who are watching will join us on the Bali retreat. Looking so forward to that. And really, thank you for doing the Reshape method.
And thank you, Tracy. I'm just so glad that I stumbled across you. And I honestly think if anyone has, that's a message from the universe as well. Because I really felt like, oh, where did this come from? And, and it was just like, I wasn't looking for anything. I just given up. I had actually resigned. I was like, no, nothing's going to work. I've thrown thousands of pounds into my health. And I mean, thousands, probably double, five figures, maybe even, into my health and fitness, but nothing worked. So, and I'm just so blessed. I feel so blessed and grateful that we did stumble across each other, and I joined your walking challenge. And from that walking challenge, which we've just completed again, I'm so glad that I enrolled. So glad that I enrolled. It's the best investment I've made in myself. And that's coming from a mindset coach and an energy healer.
Yeah. It's been so great having you in our community, and I'm so pleased that you're going to be staying on with us, and just look forward to all sorts of audacious aging and reshaping in our future. Thank you so much for coming to chat to us today, Sukie.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you for what you're doing, because you are going to be changing lots of women's lives. Lots.
Amazing. Thank you. All the best.